Hi folks, this is Jason. Hope you're okay today. It's good to see you. I just want to share something that's really important and that I think is extremely valuable to speak about this. And that is this, is that for about 2 years I've been making videos about atheism, and I was alarmed about 2 years ago when I was listening to Christopher Hitchens, because I felt the sort of language that he was talking when he was talking about Christianity seemed to be very insidious and very dangerous, because it wasn't about him just critiquing Christianity. It was kind of like the language that was being used was in danger of being taken and applied in a practical way. And what kind of language am I on about? Well, Hitchens was talking about that religion poisons everything, and it kind of like demonizing every person who believed that a book was spiritually divine or something like that, and it kind of like really demonizing people. And then you have language such as Richard Dawkins, where he talks about where he says that it's child abuse to talk to teach children as a parent, to teach your children as a parent about six-day creation. And a couple of years ago, when I read language like that, heard language like that coming from Dawkins, I became very disturbed, because I could see that if people were getting this on the YouTube, they could be potentially demonizing religious people in such a way that it could end up in violence, where people are saying, oh, they're child abusers because they're teaching the kids six-day creation. It could end up people being violent to creationists. I'm not saying that Dawkins was advocating that, or is advocating that for 1 second, but the language is so dangerous. It's so dangerous. And then 2 years ago, I was extremely alarmed by Sam Harris, where I realized that politically what he's doing is so dangerous, so dangerous. You see, his whole polemic, Sam Harris's whole polemic, and if you're a politician, you need to take note of this. His whole polemic was about 9/11. 9/11 happened because of Muslim fundamentalists who were extremists. And so what Sam Harris did, he made this conclusion that this is really about faith. These people were people of faith, and faith is not based on reason and evidence. So anybody who has faith, they are potentially dangerous. And with that kind of reasoning, tens of millions of Christians and Muslims become potentially demonized, to the point where people would look at a Christian or even a Muslim and say they have faith, they are potentially dangerous. And that could lead, again, people to doing violent action against people of faith. It's a complete demonization of people. And obviously Muslim extremists who blew the two towers up is nothing to do with ordinary Christians and ordinary Muslims. Anybody with half a brain can see that. So it was just a complete demonization. So you have this religion poisons everything from Hitchens, child abuse. Religion is child abuse if it teaches six-day creation to the kids, by Dawkins. And then you have this people of faith are dangerous, by Sam Harris. And you put that together, it's potentially a dangerous concoction of producing people who move from language to literal hate in action. Now, I warned about this 2 years ago, and I've made many videos about it in the past. And people, I think, would have said at that time, Jason, you're being extreme. But the reason why I'm making the video is I was on holiday, and I was at Conway in Wales, and I took a book with me by Professor Lennox, who wrote a book called Gunning for God. He's a professor of Oxford, at Oxford, in mathematics, and he made the point. He made the point. He said the language that Dawkins is using about child abuse, that teaching six-day creation to children that is child abuse, is potentially dangerous in leading to action. People could take this in a wrong way and lead to violent action against Christians. Now, when Professor Lennox said this, I thought to myself, this is a professor at Oxford, an eminent thinker, an eminent scholar, and he spotted what I spotted. This is potentially politically dangerous. Dangerous seeds have been sown by this militant, aggressive new atheism. Dangerous seeds have been sown. The seeds are there. And if you're a politician, if you are a journalist, you need to realize that the seeds have been sown by this new atheism, and they are dangerous seeds that could lead to potential harm to people. When you're using words like child abuse and putting those kind of emotive words onto Christians, when you're saying people of faith are dangerous and religion poisons everything, you're training a whole generation of people to look at people who are of faith as complete little demons or something. And that will inevitably lead to social reaction and social action to that demonized community. Rather than promoting unity in nations and promoting understanding, new atheism, with its bitter and twisted ideology, is sowing the seeds of division and potential harm. I make this video as a potential opening for debate and discussion, and I hope if you're a journalist, or if you're a politician, or if you're someone on YouTube who likes to discuss and think about, is this kind of language justifiable in a modern democratic society? Is this really kind of language that we should be using as cultured and educated people? Or is this the kind of language that we need to push to one side and say, no, this is beyond the pale, this is not rational, as they say, this is irrational, this is destructive, this is demonization of the worst soul, and it will lead potentially to dangerous results. We need to have a rational discussion about this. It's time that the new atheism justified these kind of language claims, and it's time we had a rational debate and discussion about this in our democracies, because it mustn't go on anymore. This cannot go on anymore. It cannot be tolerated anymore, and Sam Harris and Dawkins need to be confronted with this. And you as a politician and you as a journalist need to join in this confrontation. They need to be confronted, and we need to ask them some critical questions about this, and they need to give a reply. And we need, in our modern societies, not to tolerate this kind of intolerance. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Take care.